Have you ever had an idea, a dream, or something that you just really wanted to do, but you talked yourself out of it before you even got started? Or have you ever stopped yourself from doing something, not because you couldn't do it, but because you were scared of what other people would think? In fact, when was the last time that you just did something out of the pure passion of it, and because you wanted to, without caring about what anyone else was thinking? A lot of people really struggle to answer that question because we are constantly thinking about what other people are going to think. Maybe you have a secret hobby that you want to try, but you're holding yourself back because you don't want to step out of the box that you've put yourself in. So every time you get close to doing it, you pull back. You tell yourself next time that you're too busy or too tired, and there's always an excuse. Or maybe you've had a dream, something that you can imagine yourself doing, but every time you get close, you pull back, you shrink, you make yourself small because a question comes into your mind, which is, who do I think I am? Why do I think that I can do this? Who am I to take up this space? Who am I to be seen like this? And so you stay small, you stay quiet, you let someone else go for it instead of taking up the space that is meant for you. If any of this has landed for you, then this video is for you, because today we're going to be talking about the invisible box that we put ourselves in that stops us from being who we are meant to be, from living our most audacious, incredible life that we have all come here to live. And that thing is fear. Fear of what other people think, fear of other people's judgment, fear of getting it wrong. This is one of the biggest manifestation blocks that stops us from living an abundant life, because in order to live in abundance, we need to do scary things. We need to do different things that push us, that challenge us. But when we allow fear to win, we stay stuck. We stop ourselves from pursuing the things that we know in our heart are for us, the dreams, the ambitions, the hobbies. We allow other people to take up more space, and we just sit back and we watch. We watch from the sidelines, and we hope that maybe one day we'll muster up the courage, or someone else will reach out their hand and give us the leg up that we need to get us to a place where we are already great at what it is that we want to be doing. You are playing it too safe. Everything that you want is on the other side of fear. But as we go through life, we have certain experiences and interactions and traumas that go on to shape this box that we are living in. I want you to imagine yourself when you are born as this incredible castle. We have all of these doors to the human experience that are wide open, and we have every single aspect, both positive and negative. That is the fullness of what it is to be a human being, because we can be everything. But as we go through life, we learn that certain doors, certain aspects of the human experience aren't right. And we learn that through programming, through experiencing, through witnessing our parents and our caregivers and our schoolmates go through life, and we learn what's safe and what's not. Over time, we start closing doors off to the castle. So by the time we're in adulthood and we're trying to live a normal functioning life, we are living in a 2-bedroom apartment with all of the doors closed. This is where fear has started to take over your entire life. It is dictating all of the decisions that you are making and all the actions that you are either taking or not taking. I had a moment that came up the other day that made me realize just how powerful it is to work on removing your fears, and how much of a different person you can become when you focus on this stuff. When I was younger, I was riddled with anxiety, with social anxiety. All I wanted was to be liked. As I grew up, I learned that there were certain things that were unsafe, and I wanted nothing else but to fit in. I wanted to be the person that everyone liked. I didn't want to push the boat out, so I made sure that all of the things that I was doing in my recreational time were in line with what other people were doing. My sister, on the other hand, she was a rebel at heart. She was always just doing what she wanted to do. And one of the things that she really loved was skating. So she got her own skateboard, she started skateboarding. And I always turned my nose up as that, and I never allowed myself to even explore it, because it wasn't something that was deemed as cool when I was growing up, and I wanted nothing more than to be cool. And so I allowed my curiosity to be completely dampened when I was a child. When I got to adulthood, eventually people would ask me what my hobbies were and what my passions were, and I actually had no idea, because I'd closed off so many doors, and I was living in this 2-bedroom apartment where I had no idea, first of all, what actually lit me up or what made me passionate, but also I had so much fear and judgment on other people doing these things because I felt like I couldn't. I didn't intentionally start healing and think that it was going to help me take up new hobbies and do things that I never thought I was going to be able to do before. But as I healed, I noticed that my confidence started improving in different areas. And just recently, I went to the skate park with my sister, because I've actually, over the past 3 months, taken up skateboarding. And This is something I never thought that I'd do because I never allowed myself to explore what it would look like if I took up that hobby. Is that something that I'd enjoy? Or am I just actually conforming to the people around me because my immediate friendship group don't like it, therefore I can't like it? Those people are weird and I don't want to be weird, so I won't do it. You know what? I'll judge other people that are skaters because that's what I've learned is the appropriate response in the people that I'm surrounded by. That just means that you are limiting yourself. You aren't leading with curiosity. And I wasn't leading through curiosity. And so when this came into my sphere 3 months ago, I just allowed myself to be curious. Okay, my judgments have completely gone. I don't have judgment on it anymore. And a judgment is always just an indication that there is a door to the castle that we have closed off. Because if we have a part of ourselves that we have repressed, when we see that part in other people, it really makes us angry. And so we often want to shut them down and tell them how annoying they're being. So a judgment is a really great way to know where there is a fear or a suppressed part of ourselves that is actually informing your decisions and actions beneath the surface. Very interesting. You should definitely do a deep dive on it. It's stuff that you can never unsee afterwards. So I've been really enjoying going to the skate park and learning. And there are so many aspects that would have absolutely terrified me, you know, being around a load of like specifically men and younger kids that as a beginner, I'm a 34-year-old beginner that is doing these with all of my padding on, that is literally just learning how to get my balance on a surf skate so that I can also learn how to surfboard in the water. I don't look cool. I don't know what I'm doing. In the past, I would have been terrified of conflict, of people telling me to get out of the way, of people being really rude and nasty, saying rude things. And you know what? If I still believed that people were like that in society, that actually probably would have been my experience, because we remember we attract in the experiences that we believe that we're a match for. But because I have completely shifted how I see the world, and I truly believe that the majority of people are good people, that I always have great interactions with people, even in really difficult situations, I really don't get that much conflict in my life anymore. So all of the interactions that I've had at skate parks over the last 3 months have been incredibly positive. People have been really encouraging, have been giving me tips, have been super just welcoming to a otherwise potentially hostile environment. But it really does require you to just throw yourself into fear. One of the things that you have to get very comfortable with very quickly is being seen failing. And my sister and a couple of friends, we all went skating recently. And when we were in a group together, it was really, really great because we felt like we had a lot of like protection around us, especially for the people that had never really skated before or were taking back up the habit. On another occasion, me and my friend went back to the skate park. And this is someone that had grown up really, really loving skateboarding and were wanting to get back into the habit as well. But we'd come just as two people, and we'd come at a really busy time in the skate park where there was loads of kids. It was like past 3 p.m. So like all of the kids had just like come in, all of the adults were there, and there were just people just watching and observing, waiting for their turn. And I really noticed myself wanting to lean into that. And I just started like weaving. I wasn't very good. Like I was still really like trying to improve, but I was like, you've just got to throw yourself into it. And after about 10 minutes, I noticed my friend starting to withdraw. They started just sitting down. And after about 15 minutes, they were like, you know what, I'm just done. There's just too many people. I get really anxious when there's this many people around. And I was like, you know, you just have to throw yourself into it. You can't be scared whether people are watching you or not, because otherwise you'll never improve, because there's always going to be people watching. And she sort of just said, you've done so much healing, so this doesn't bother you anymore, but this still bothers me. And it really clicked something in my mind that the majority of people are still being dictated by fear. Their lives, their decisions, their actions, the level of joy that they're experiencing in their life is being dictated by fear, by the fear of what people are going to think. Through all of the healing and the shadow work that I have done, through the in-all methods that I use, I have removed a lot of fear of judgment from my body. It's allowed me to grow an incredible brand online. It's allowed me to post on YouTube. It's allowed me to just recently hit 100,000 followers on Instagram. It's allowed me to be seen in a whole new capacity, but it's also allowed me to enjoy my life so much more because I'm able to engage in hobbies and interests with so much more curiosity and not care what people think. It's allowed me to be a beginner again and explore new passions that I would never have been open to in the past because I'm not scared of what people think. It's allowed me to go even when there's loads of people around and not just become a bystander, but become an active participant in the life that I ultimately want to live. I used to be the person that would always just watch from the sidelines. I would let everyone else get involved, even though deep down I wanted to get involved. I had a yearning that someone would just take my hand and push me into the circle and help me to do it, but it doesn't happen like that most of the time. Most of the time, we need to lead. And if we have a fear that is stopping us, that is saying, everyone else is going to judge you here, and that is going to be something that is going to tear you apart, we don't. We just sit. We allow the fun to be had by other people, and we allow our fear to keep us in a box. And I want you to ask yourself, how much are you not doing because of fear? What have you held yourself back from because of fear? Because of what someone may think of? Because of what someone may think of you? If you can think of even 2 things in your mind, that is 2 things too many. We have come here to experience the fullness in life. And if you are being dictated by fear, how do you know that there isn't something that you are meant to be doing in the next 5 to 10 years that you may even completely uplift your entire life to dedicate to, but you'll never know because fear is holding you back? That doesn't sound like a life that I want to live. And I know it's not a life that you want to live. Really, this is about coming back to becoming the fullness of who we have come here to be. Being the fullness of being a human being means not being dictated or run by fear, but allowing ourselves to be passion-led, to follow our creativity, to follow the flow of the universe. Because the only thing that stops the flow of the universe is fear, is the discomfort that comes with fear. Fear is the ultimate cockblock to living an abundant, authentic, incredible life. And I promise you, I know that these things probably don't seem connected, but whatever it is that you're manifesting, if you want to manifest more money, more visibility, more wealth, more success, fear is also going to be the thing that will hold you back from all of these things. Fear around what other people think is probably the number 1 money block that I see people have. I don't want to make more money because I'm scared that people will think that I've changed. I'm scared that people will think that I'm different, that I'm a bad person, that I won't have enough in common with my current friendship group because I've changed who I'm being. It is the fear of what other people think that controls our life. And that is not good enough, my friends. You have not come here to live in a box. You have come here to be free. You have come here to experience. So I want you to make a list of all of the areas that you are holding yourself back in, all of the areas that you could be doing so much more in, but you're not because what if someone says it's not good enough? What if someone says that you're not cool? What if someone says that it's weird? What if you get judged by your current friendship group? Write all of those things down. And I want you to commit to doing the work to remove the fear so that you can do those things. I have something called an inner authority wheel, which is something that I teach inside of the Inner app. And it helps you to dictate whether you are reactive and unconscious of a fear that is in your body, or whether you are integrated and aware of it and able to move forward. Now, in order to completely remove a fear, we need to go through these 4 steps. Let's take the fear of being judged by other people. If you have this fear that comes up whenever you try to do something new and it has held you back, then you are a 1. That means that you are reactive and it is currently unconsciously dictating your life. That is not a fun place to be because it means that you're not leading through curiosity and you just can't. It means that you'll often dip into dysregulation, and creativity, flow, passion, fun, abundance doesn't resonate with dysregulation. So in order to go from a 1 to a 2 and become aware, this is where we need to build awareness of just this is happening. So just by this video alone and you making notes on where you are holding yourself back, you are going to go from a 1 to a 2. Okay, and now I have awareness. But now comes the hard part, because at 2, you still have to take an action. Do a scary thing despite feeling fear. You have to be really aware of where you're holding yourself back and take action despite the fear, or at least start to move towards it. So if taking the action feels too much, your next step is to do healing to remove the fear. So to go from a 2, which is aware of the pattern, to a 3, which is integrated, is no longer bothering you, this is where you need to do deep work. And I recommend doing breath work and somatics combined inside of the In-Awe app. There are flows designed just to remove fears from the body so that you can expand your capacity, so that you can no longer let fear hold you back. There are specific flows in there just called Let It Go. We've done live flows where we've literally just let go of anxiety and fear and broken through to the next level. Whenever you do this, you are basically expanding your capacity. You are completing fight or flight responses that created that fear in the first place. So once you do that, you are going to be starting to feel slightly more neutral. But there is another step that you have to take to actually integrate this. If you don't integrate after you've done healing work, this is where a lot of people start to say, you know, I've been doing all of this healing work, why is nothing changing? And the reason is because you aren't taking a different action. To fully integrate, you need to act differently. That means taking a scary action. That's going to be the thing that solidifies that expansion and allows your capacity to fully expand. Now, there is also a daily devotional practice that I recommend that everyone does. I'm going to leave that out of this video so that it doesn't get too long. All of these map to the 6 principles of In-Awe, which are the 6 elements that if people do every single day will completely change their lives. I have coached thousands of people at this point. I've done research on consciousness, on manifestation, on plasma, on energetic healing, on homeopathy. And when people incorporate these 6 elements into their life, everything changes. And they map to the daily devotional practice, which is inside of the app. But I will do another video where I go into what those 6 principles are so that you can start to implement them in your own life. If you take anything away from this video, let it be that you have come here to live an incredible, exceptional, daring, extravagant life, never holding yourself back. That is what the human experience is meant to be. You didn't come here to be giving opportunities to Sally down the road because she's got a little bit more confident and she doesn't have the fears that you have. The thing is, you've got to remind yourself, if not you, then who? If not you, then who? Everything that you want to do is an idea that is floating in the world. And if it's not going to be you that does it, it's going to be done by someone else. And you holding yourself back because of fear of what people are going to think doesn't mean that someone else isn't going to do it. What's going to happen is one day you're going to see the idea that you had or the habit that you wanted to form and someone else has done it and you're going to think, why didn't I just do it? Why didn't I just face the fears that I had and not let them control my reality? Because that's what ends up happening. You'll end up looking back in your life and be like, oh, I'm so glad that I held myself back and I wasn't judged by all of those people. You won't say that. You'll regret that. But you will always be thankful if you pushed yourself and tried, even if it didn't work out because you learned something. Don't be the person that lets fear win. Don't be the person that lets fear dictate your life. So remember your power. Remember it can be easy to remove these fear blocks from the body. I literally give you a process inside of the In-Awe app at a low cost. So please make sure that you come and join us in there in removing these fear of being seen blocks. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure that you give this a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, put on the alerts so that you get notified whenever I post new videos. And then please drop in the comments below, what is it that you realize that you're holding yourself back from? I want to hold you guys accountable and I love reading through all of the messages that you guys leave. Thank you guys so much for the support and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.